Hi, I'm Francesco, one of the developers of Hexerei, the Three Witches of Würzburg, and I'm here to talk a bit about gameplay. What you see here is a prototype. The artwork and the models are final, but the graphics are going to be overhauled for the final product. Hexerei is a one versus all game of cooperative maneuvering and fighting that reminisces in some way the venerable fury of Dracula. Of course, years of development have led us far away from these roots, but the basic structure of one big bad evil villain against up to 4 good guys is the same. In Hexerei, the hunters win if they find and kill all 3 witches. The Coven players, which sits behind the Coven dashboard, will win either if he managed to get to the 8th turn with a living witch, or if he kills enough hunters to deplete the novice deck. Each time a hunter dies, they scrap all their equipment and start anew with a novice card, but there are only 8 of these in the deck. While the Coven has a lot of creatures they can summon, they are unique, and once slain, they can't be summoned again. That's why we say this is a game of hard choices. Each hunter has a hunter sheet, and they are each unique. The core box features 4 basic hunters: the Writer, the Surgeon, the Austringer, and the Inquisitor. Each hunter sheet displays the inventory, the ability scores, and the health and sanity trackers. Masteries are unique abilities to be used outside of combat, while tactics are combat-related. Cooperation is vital, since being unique is all fine and good, until you understand that you don't have all the right tools for the job. Luckily, you have companions that do. The Coven has a lot of capabilities. Most of them come under the form of creatures, cultists, and abominations. You may have noticed I didn't mention witches. They are never summoned, and they can only be found by the hunters, and while very strong, they can and must be killed if the hunters want to win. This is the Coven dashboard. It features the reserve of creatures in the form of tokens, and the spaces reserved for witch tokens and the clue tokens needed to find them. This is the Goetia tracker and the 4 Goetia powers. We'll talk about it later. This is the Imperium tracker. It represents the power of each witch when actually into play. It is raised by 1 each time a hunter is slain. And finally, this is the Orbis deck. We'll get to it really soon. A Hexerei game is divided in rounds. Each round a new ritual tile is dropped on the ritual board. When the 8th tile completes the ritual, the final round begins. This is the clock the hunters are running against. At the beginning of the round, we have the ward phase. The Coven player draws 3 Orbis cards. Hunters can put positive white cards in the deck as a reward for slaying creatures and saving populace. The Coven is forced to play those white cards, but now they are all black. The Coven chooses the card most suited to their needs and reshuffles the others in the deck. Then reads aloud the conditions for the round. Then the Coven draws and drops a new tile on the ritual. The ritual begins with 1 already present, and also draws Maleficia cards until they have a hand of 5. It is time for the Coven phase proper. The Coven can use Goetia powers, which are summoning creatures, gathering cultists, healing minions, and shuffling false clues to defend the witches in the Arcanum deck. Of this last, we'll talk later. Let's talk shop about summoning creatures. The Goetia points are your limit, and these are set by the ritual tiles. You will spend between 1 and 4. To summon creatures, we first need to use the cultists and open a portal. Cultists begin the game on the board, like hunters. They are weak and very important. When they are killed, you can't summon creatures. Luckily, cultists can get back into play, unlike most Coven models. We'll put this nice Roggen Mume here. I can activate and move this creature immediately, since it's pretty safe in the countryside region due to his special powers of evasion. This is the only creature in play, so I'm done with activations which can take place in any order. I could still play some Maleficia cards, but I elect not to. This is it for this initial Coven phase. Let's go to the market phase. Each hunter, starting from the one holding the first hunter token, can acquire items. They just need the episcopal treasury and a bit of risk management. In this case, the first hunter is the Austringer. Items are listed from common to prized. Each hunter can only bargain once for each item. And each hunter has a different influence value. For the Austringer, it's a paltry 1. Influence is a measure of bargain power and grants automatic successes when trying to acquire an item. For some items this is enough, but not for this rapier. This is an item card. The price is on the big gold coin on the bottom. We need a 3 success total to acquire it. We can use as many dice as we wish from the treasury, but beware. They are a common pool and it can vanish quickly. Being greedy and anticipating a fight, I'll take all 4 starting treasury dice from the episcopal treasury. Each success adds to the Austringer's influence value. We did manage to get a rapier. If I rolled at just a single success, I wouldn't have. Regardless of the result, each success depletes its die from the treasury. They don't represent solid coin, but credit, and trust is easily damaged in wartime. All living hunters can try and acquire any object once. When they are done, it's time for some exploring. In the hunter's phase, the hunters act one at a time to find and slay the 3 witches. In their turn, hunters might take a number of actions, and they are free to take them in any order. They can move, question a heretic, manage the inventory, use items and masteries, and of course, fight. Hunters may move freely on any location, whether it's a sanctuary, a fort, an abyss, or any encounter location. Moving on a location occupied by another hunter has no compulsory effect. Moving on an encounter location, which is still hidden, however, has 2 effects. First, the encounter is revealed. This is a slow way to discover the world, and not very efficient. Because, second, any remaining movement point is for fate. Hunters may activate encounters. This is a free action, and each encounter has a different result on the game. Hunters may use their masteries. Some are active, and their use must be declared. Others are passive and always on. The Austringer here may use masteries to secretly scout hidden encounters and reveal one, or jump a hidden encounter and reach beyond it with his movement. Hunters may also question prisoners from the Malefic's house, which is a sort of jail for devil worshippers. Their tender ministration reveal encounters. You must match the Hunter's Inquisition score with the Heretic's Defiance score featured on the card. Here, let me take the Inquisitor. With a score of 4, this heretic is no match for his skills. The difference between Inquisition and Defiance is the number of revealed encounters. In addition, if the minimum required score is met, each heretic grants an effect, which is a nice bonus. Revealing encounters is a precious cooperation tool. Since moving into hidden encounters depletes your movement, it is effectively used to open a road, piercing the fog of war, and can be used for fellow players. The Inquisitor frees the path for our Writer, which can now reach this green strategy encounter, a Cromlech. It looks like the Coven player didn't prepare for this. Normally, a rogue movement can be attacked in the fields, but this green strategy encounter can draw the monster in a hunter's location, which is a nice way to talk about combat. Combat is resolved with dice. There are 3 kinds of attack dice in Hexerei. White attack dice have each 2 successes, 3 empty faces, and a black drop-shaped critical hit result. Red attack dice have 4 successes and 2 blank faces each. Blue armor-piercing dice have 3 armor-piercing results and 3 blank faces each. Together, they form attack dice pools. Coven models have fixed pools featured on their sheet, and here is the Rogue movement. Hunters need to add a weapon to the basic pool. Here is the correct attack dice pool. Combat is resolved whenever a Coven model or more and a Hunter model or more end up in the same location. They just can't get along. Mind, fleeing is not an option in Hexerei. Once you are fighting, it's either you or your enemy, or rarely both. This helps decision making. You always know what you are risking, even if you don't know who is gonna pay the price. The first step for resolving combat is declaring your weapons. Coven goes always first. The Rogue Mumme declares its Fiery Touch, which is low, but has a chance to deal a lot of damage. A hunter must choose their weapons, and they must be active, either in hand or in the equipped item slots. Then we compare the type of weapons. Range always goes off before melee. In this case, it's melee for both. Lower numbers always go first, so the hunter goes first with the rapier. That's a good roll, but not perfect. It hits, but it does not deal critical damage. So, it's one mortality in the Rogue Mumme's pool. This creature's pool starts at 2. Adding 1 mortality brings the total to 3. Dealing damage always forces a casualty roll. The casualty die has 8 faces. Of course, this is a stand-in for the official die. If a roll is forced on your model, and the roll is equal or under the total pool, your model dies. This roll is enough for the Rogue Mumme to survive, but fights in Hexerei are fast and deadly. It's the creature's turn to deal a hit. The Coven's player risks a lot, but the roll is good. The armor-piercing result roll means it ignores the hunter's defense rating. The success result from the white attack dice means the attack hits. And this black teardrop result means the hit was a critical. The writer's been damaged. Hunters always lower by 1 their health when hit. Now it's the hunter's turn for a casualty roll. The writer survives the exchange, since it was improbable to roll 1. But our hunter was hit by a critical, remember? The Rogue Mumme's sheet states he has to further lower his health by 1 after surviving a casualty roll. Things look grim. In the next exchange, the Rogue Mumme will probably choose the flail, which is fast and very precise. And that means the hunter's odds worsened considerably. Taking on a creature so early in the game was a gamble, since the writer had scarcely the time to equip, and no companion to join in a patrol. Next up, activating encounters. We have seen hunters exploring the game board and revealing encounters. By going on the same location, they can activate them as a free action. This populous encounter, for example, can be sent to a sanctuary to bring the hunters a nice bonus. Each round, it will shuffle a white Orbis card in the Coven's Orbis deck. We saw the Coven's player use that at the beginning of the Ward phase. White cards are very useful for the hunters, but so are the other kind of populace you can find and send to the sanctuaries. All encounters are useful. The most important encounters of all are Arcanum encounters, though. They allow hunters to draw cards from the Arcanum deck, either 1 or 2 of them according to the token. Each Arcanum card features a clue for one of the 3 witches. When you have 4 clues on a witch, the Coven player is forced to put the witch within the same region as the hunter who drew said clue. This is the only way a witch can be brought on the table. This is the only way a witch can be found. You have still to fight her, though, and they are very, very strong. The Coven's player can protect the witches in many ways. One of them is to use the Litany Goetia power. By using it, the Coven can shuffle 1 black card in the Arcanum deck per round. It is costly, but worth it. Black Arcanum cards are very bad for hunters, and offer no clue. So, these are the basic rules to play Hexerei, the 3 Witches of Würzburg. The only thing left to remember is that what is written on a card or sheet always overrules the basics. Creatures, hunters, items, each of them are unique, and do their thing, changing each game. We were very careful about crafting each of these elements so that they could be accounted for. Randomness is inevitable in a dice-based system, but we wanted risk management, not blind luck. We hope you'll have fun.